man, guys, it's here. I'm excited. The new Haltech Rebel LS. I was one of the first people. I was in the first group to get my order in, so I've got it. We're gonna do an unboxing. I'm gonna, kind of look through it, show you guys, give you a review after I get it on the car. I'm excited, guys. I think this is a game changer. Holly's been kind of ruling the world for LS stuff for a while, but with their stuff, it's like it's hard to get a hold of because they're always on back order, and yeah, there's a lot of reasons that I think this is better. But let's start unboxing it, look at it, and see if it's as good as I think it is. Ooh, this is pretty cool already. Look at this, guys. They give you like a Haltech bag that comes in here. Wow, this is fancy. Look at that. Need a little cutter. We got a zip tie deal on here. Hopefully I don't mess up the bag in the process. There we go. All right, we got our sensors here. They're supposed to, you got your Bosch wideband because it's all built in. Unlike, like their Elite 1500, where like if you ordered that, you also had to get the wideband, extension thing in order to do that. This one is actually built in, so that's freaking awesome, guys. We got an intake temp sensor, comes with that. That's good. It looks like just a regular LS intake temp sensor, which I already have in my car, so it's nice to have an extra one. All right. We've got, oh man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Knock sensor adapter. Okay. Nice wiring harness there. Supposedly they give you a whole bunch of adapters for various different situations, depending on what you're running. This is like the EV1 injector sub-harness. So I did order some injectors for mine that are EV1, because currently I have truck injectors on there, so that's going to be nice. Just be able to plug it right in, not have to rewire anything. Okay, throttle cable and idle air control harness. All right. Got a T56 transmission harness, which I'm not going to need this one because I have a CB009, but that is nice. If you did have a T56, you wouldn't have to wire anything, it just plugs right in. Okay, we've got, there's a lot of stuff in here, guys. Okay. Oh, okay, so they give you, since there's so many different options on alternators, they're giving you all these different plugs for various different alternator setups, depending on which one you have. You don't, they take the guesswork out of it. You can just plug it in. That's nice. All right. What else do we got in here? Here's the actual ECU. Oh man, this is good. Where's my cutter at? I lost it. This'll work. Oh yeah, that's nice. Look at that. Look at that, guys. That's pretty. They got the you got your battery connections right on the ECU, which is really nice. There's built-in map sensor. Got your port for tuning, all that stuff. This is good. Wow, it's even got lights on here to let you know like whether certain things are on or whatever. That's nice. What we got in here? These are probably some more adapter things. Oh yeah, okay, so they give you the terminals to hook up the battery cables. They also give you bolts to bolt it down. That's nice of them. Okay. A tuning cable, which they actually switched up their tuning cable. They used to have the old printer style. Now it's one of these deals, which I can't remember what those are called, but yeah. Oh, okay, there's like an antenna. That might be for their, possibly for their, they are planning to do like a Bluetooth situation with the, with your app, with an app on a phone. So they haven't come up with that yet, but it's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. So that's gonna be pretty sweet. All right, what else do we got in here? And we got the main harness. Oh man, this thing looks nice. that. That's nice, guys. Oh, wow, they even got like a nice grommet so you can run it through a firewall or whatever. I might actually be able to utilize that. Wow, that's good stuff. The price point on this is amazing as far as I'm considered. Like it's so good because like you look at like in order to do an LS, like if you want to do Haltech like a 2500, like that's a lot of money to spend to do it versus something like this where I mean honestly like the Holly, yeah, it's a similar price point, but as far as I'm concerned, Haltech's just better. It just is. It just works better. Like their tech support is amazing. Like, yeah, it's good stuff. I'm excited with this one, guys. Hell yeah. This is my colossal mess that I did last time. I made it look real good out on the engine bay, and then on the inside I was just like, fuck it, we'll just make it work. Oh my god, I made such a mess for myself. Alright, finally got the whole harness out of there. There's like the Miata part of it, and there's the LS part of it, and some of the aftermarket stuff that I did. I'm still gonna need some of the clips off of here, but for the moment, at least it's out of the car, and I kind of got it separated so I know where good stuff goes. All right, now it's time to start putting some stuff on the car to kind of figure out where it's gonna go. I think what might make sense is maybe if I start plugging in most of the engine harness, not all of it, and then I can figure out how much extra I have so I can figure out exactly where I want to put the Haltech unit, which obviously is going to be in here. I just got to figure out where I want it. Okay, going through setting up all this wiring. A few things to note. So all of this wiring here, for the alternator, coolant temp sensor, all that seems about the right length. This one, they do leave it like open to, you know, whatever vehicle you're gonna use. So you have to end up pinning this. This one, it's telling me that I only have to run one pin on there instead of two, which is interesting because the truck harness I had before, I had 2 pins on there. But I mean, technically, it looks like this is a Camaro alternator, so I think that's how it's gonna be, but I can change it later. So we got all the intake temp sensor, the IAC, throttle body, all that stuff. Came with this adapter, that plugged in, that's great. All that's working. Moving back towards this stuff, there's a lot of weird choices, I feel like, with what they did, and I'm not entirely sure why. So this one right here is the cam, right? So this one, they left it open to interpretation again, so you can pin it either way. I'm assuming that it's extremely long so that you can run this for like a front, like a cam sensor up there instead of the back. But like, because of the way they did it, this is so long, I'm gonna have so much extra in here. And they put this grommet way back here. So it's like, it's just kind of strange that they would leave like this much. Like I feel like they should have had some sort of disconnect so you could run either one, but I mean, I guess it works. I just have a tremendous amount of extra sitting by the engine. Same thing for the NOx sensors. That one's also very strange. The NOx sensor, I don't know what that's all about, but this right here is all the extra for the NOx sensor. It's crazy. And they got this little adapter so that it splits between the factory harness, and then it runs to 2 different plugs on the new harness. I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about, you know, maybe LS3s or something in a different spot. But either way, this wiring is so long. Like it's crazy town. Same thing with like some of this other stuff. Like I don't really understand why some of these are so long. Like the crank sensor wire was freaking insane. It was like, let's see if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. One of these is the crank sensor, and it was just like super duper long. I mean, I guess it's better to be too long than too short, but in my specific case, it's going to be a pain in the ass because I've got to put all this extra. All of this has to fit in here, so that's going to be interesting. But I mean, other than that, everything is kind of working, so I guess I'm just going to keep moving forward. Okay, moving on. I put the injector sub harness in, which is basically, it's this piece, and then it connects to all 8 injectors, and they're kind of loomed to different sides, which, once again, it gives you a crazy amount of wiring. I'm not entirely sure what in the hell kind of situation you'd have to need this much wiring, but yeah, there's yeah, there's a bunch of wiring. I don't know if maybe they meant for it to go all the way around the intake or something. I don't know. It's freaking weird. But in this case, I think this is going to work. I'll probably just zip tie everything under the intake. I don't have my other injectors in yet, but these do have EV1 clips on them, so they'll fit the new injectors that I have. So now to try and figure out all of this mess. Starting to kind of get it situated where I think it's going to work. I think this is going to work right here. This one has to go to, obviously it's red, it needs to go to power. So I think what we're going to do is run that one to the starter right there. And then this one needs to go to ground, so we'll just ground it to the chassis somewhere in here. It says go to the battery, but I don't think it's going to matter as far as that goes. I think I'm going to have enough room here for all this wiring. It's going to be close, but I think we'll be able to push all this crap in here. And then I've got another Leash Electronics power distribution module, so that one's going to go there. And then I can kind of send all the power where I need it to go for, you know, headlights, taillights, and for power for ECU. And then I'm going to have, I think I'm going to run either this fuse box or maybe another one. This one's already set up for, right now it's set up for nitrous wiring. I might rewire this for additional things because I know I'm going to need a couple relays. So we'll see. Moving on. Okay, so I'm kind of at the point of uploading a tune because I got most of the wiring pretty much ready. As you can see, I got my power distribution module in here. I wired everything in. I got a main fuse, got all my cables ran to this. I got my injectors in there. Everything is clipped in and whatnot. So I think we're ready to do this. So now, working on the Rebel LS, it gives you a different setup. It gives you like a setup wizard when you start it up. Unlike normally with like Haltech Elite, it doesn't do that. So it has named the vehicle. Go in here, you pick what engine is closest to what you have, which we have an L33 here. Camshaft, this one has a 228, 230 duration cam, so that one's pretty close. Let's see, cable throttle, that's what we're doing for that one. For the moment, we're just going to use the stock map sensor, even though I'm going to switch it later. Let's see, what do we got for injectors? That I'm going to have to figure out and probably put that in there. I'm going to look that up. So then for injectors, you just go into your select injectors. We're going to go into DECA, because that's what I have, is some 6 60-pound injectors. So you just click on those, select them, and it'll load that into the map. Okay. All right. I'm sure I have a few things that need to be addressed now. So after I checked that, I had intake temp sensor was unplugged, and then also it said something about voltage, but I'm wondering if it's just because the battery voltage is below 12 maybe. So now we're going to do the throttle and calibrate that. Okay, so as you noticed, it didn't start the best, and I will give you my first impressions of this system so far. It is not the best. So at the moment, I've been messing with this thing for all day. Today, I messed with it yesterday, last night. Was up really late. I was on, I had my buddy, TeamViewer in. He was messing with it. He does a lot of Haltech stuff. He contacted his guy at Haltech. They're solving problems. I think the system is still, I think they're still working some stuff out because there's something weird going on with this. It basically what's happening is it fires up and then immediately dies. Sometimes it fires up and then runs for a second and the idle jumps way up, way down, way up, way down, and then eventually it smooths out. So we tried messing with all sorts of idle, fuel, ignition, everything we could possibly think of. Didn't really fix the issue. We tried scoping it, and we noticed that the crank position sensor dropped out a little bit and thought maybe it was a crank sensor. I had a spare engine. I put another crank sensor in there, didn't fix it. I know that this engine ran fine and the other engine ran perfectly fine. I have a hard time believing it's the engine, but they're still convinced, even the guy at Haltech is convinced that it's a crank position sensor, so I'm gonna go get another one. Try that, hopefully it fixes it. I have my doubts, but we'll see. Okay, I now have somebody from Haltech in here. He's messing around trying to see if he can figure it out, so hopefully we get somewhere. All right, so it cranks a little bit longer, but it does, you know, seem to run fine. It doesn't do the up and down stuff. Basically what the Haltech guy did is he got in there and he figured out that essentially it's a situation with the dead times. The default for the Siemens Deca 60s is off by a smidge and you have to play with them, essentially. So essentially he just raised up the dead time so that it was like, he gave it like 30% and it just kind of smoothed everything out. And then he just did a couple tweaks here and there. But I mean, for the most part, I think it was just the dead times really that was causing the problem. Even though for some reason we thought it was the sync before. I don't know. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter because it's working. So that's good. That's awesome. All right, I think the install is all done. I got everything kind of zip tied and out of the way. Everything's ran. You can see there's not much I can do about all of that. That's just the insane amount of excess they give you, which I guess for other applications is fine, but for mine it's kind of crazy. But yeah, for my scenario, this is honestly way cleaner than it was. I think it's gonna work out. Oh man, you guys, got stuff back from powder coat. It's looking freaking good. About to put all this stuff on. Hell yeah. All right, since I got my valve covers back from powder coat, I can start to put these on. And I got these ARP bolts to put in there, and I wasn't really sure how these things came apart. These are the stock bolts. Turns out, literally all you do, these are just slid onto there. It doesn't feel like they'll come out. If you just put this in a vise and then just tap this out, the bolt pops right out of there. So that makes my life really easy. So now I can just take these out of there and slide them into there, and I think we'll be okay. The only thing I am kind of worried about is I don't know if my plug wires are going to be long enough. I guess we'll find out, but let's get these valve covers on first and see how we're looking. So before I put these on, notice I got these bolts sitting in here. They're just kind of slid in, sitting real nice. It does actually have provisions for baffles for these AN fittings. And it actually comes with these little plates, which it looks like they just kind of bolt onto there. They give these little screws, and then you just kind of put it where is needed. They only give you two, which is fine because I'm only going to be running the back two. So yeah, let's throw those in. Ta-da! Got them all bracketed up. I did take the time. I took the stock wiring harness, reloomed it, redid it the way I wanted it to be. It turned out pretty good. I did find out that you have to mount the coils a little bit funky with this style coil because there's so many different style coils. They sent you like various different sizes of bushings and stuff to space them out. I found for my application that's the best. It's kind of screwy because you have to have the wiring harness clips on opposite sides. On other coils you don't, but on this one, you know, it works, it's fine. But I think it turned out really nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I just need to mount my catch can and start running all those lines. So I think that's, yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. It's a little loud in here. Got another car running in here at the moment, but I'm working on the catch can. I got this one from Motion Raceworks. It's a pretty nice unit. I've never had one quite this nice, but I do believe at the moment, I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to mount it kind of down in here-ish because there's not much option because this has to be so short. Yeah, I think it's the only thing I can really get away with because there's really nowhere else to put it, but I marked it out for the bracket right there. I just need to drill it. I'm gonna put some nut certs because I love those damn things. And then we're gonna mount it up and then start working on the hoses. And done. It actually worked out pretty good. I was kind of worried it was gonna sit up too high where I originally was gonna put it. But after taking measurements, it's pretty much the only way I could do it, and it worked out pretty good. It's kind of silly. I mean, it's like the shortest little line ever, but it works. The only thing I do have to change later is this fitting here. I actually reused the one from the oil cooler because, yeah, it was the only 180 I had, so I'm gonna get a black one. But other than that, I mean, it does work for now, so it's whatever. But yeah, guys, this thing is like pretty much there. I just gotta do the bumper at this point. I even went as far as putting that plate back on there and giving her a little Haltech sticker. But yeah, it's coming together, guys. Hell yeah. All right, got it running outside here. About to take it for the first test drive with all the new stuff. Wish me luck. Hopefully everything goes all right. Obviously I don't have my front bumper on there, but that's all right. Everything else is pretty much secure, so I think we'll be okay. So let's try it. So I just drove it a little bit, and I gotta tell you guys, this tune is like really close. It's honestly not that far off. It's on the rich side, which is great. I mean, so far I'd say Rebel LS it's really good. Like even out of the box, once you get everything set up, it's pretty good. I just took about 5% out. I'm gonna drive it a little bit more and see how it is, and then probably call it a day because it's really cold outside right now. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so it drives pretty good. Honestly, it's not bad. You'll notice in one of the videos, you'll see my tack was like crazy high. It was, I realized that all my settings on my gauges got reset after I had them unplugged. So I got to redo all of those things because they're doing some wacky things. But other than that, the car drives really good. I just need to tune it now. I mean, that's really all there is to it. So feeling pretty good about it. All right, guys, so I guess first impressions. I do like Haltech. I will say this has been a little bit of a learning curve so far. That problem with the injectors, that really threw me for a loop for a couple days. Like it was a huge pain. But, now that I know that, that was kind of an issue, and they actually, the guy from Haltech, him, and then there was another guy, they had talked about it, and I guess they're actually going to try and go in, and Haltech was talking about they might start testing more of these DECA injectors because they don't use those very much in Australia. I guess it's more of an American thing, so they didn't have a lot of injector testing, so they were talking about they're probably going to do that and try to update some of those numbers in there. So that's good. And, even since, that last video, I've noticed that they've been doing updates, pretty consistently and taking care of some of these things. So that's really good. And the fact that like the Haltech guy, like he went out of his way to jump on there and like help me out and like didn't ask anything in return. Like it was awesome. Like I said before, like their support is great. Like honestly, it really is. It's worth it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty happy with it. It's I just need to go tune it, and it should be good to go. I haven't had the chance to go out and do that yet. I'm hoping this weekend. We'll see, but the weather is kind of, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But for the moment, it's, it runs, it drives, it's ready. I think I've wrapped up pretty much everything with the exception of that bumper, which I've been doing a lot of sanding and, stuff that I'm just doing off camera because you guys don't really care to look at that. But I'll show you next time when I finally get it to the point where I'm ready to show it, because it's been a whole thing. But yeah, so I guess for the moment, last thoughts, I'd say Rebel LS, worth it. Definitely the price point is great compared to a lot of other things. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a win. Definitely a win. But I think that's gonna be it for this one, guys. So like, subscribe, comment, do all the things, and peace out.